Okay, so in my last video I told you I was going to teach you how to make your readers feel things. So a lot of people feel like writing is all about like flawless grammar and great words. It's really not. Really, as a writer, what you're trying to do is tell a perfect story. And the way that you're going to do this the best is to understand how a reader's mind works, and you're going to affect it in just the right ways as you go on. So a couple of things I was talking to Jory about today were pacing, natural dialogue, and how to hurt people, for lack of a better word. So I'm probably going to forget these things as I'm trying to go through this video. But pacing, we'll start there. So as you're trying to tell your story, for your first draft, all you really need to do is get down your plot points. Like all of the ideas you're having, just pour them out. It doesn't matter how fast they come out, just as long as like everything that you're trying to touch upon, you get there. As you get better at it, you get better at putting the pacing in there appropriately as you write the story. But as a beginner, typically what you're going to be doing is just getting the story down, and then you're going to sort of shape it along the way until it's to be the way that you want to. So some things to note with pacing. The type of scene that you're trying to create is going to determine your pacing. So with Jory, I use the example of if you're going to write erotica, for instance, there are certain kinds of scenes you're trying to write. Some of them are going to be real hard and fast. You're going to want to use shorter sentences, clippier words. It's going to be real snappy and fast-paced, right? If you're trying to be romantic, however, you're really going to want to slow it down. You want to use all the flowy, sensory language and really draw your sentences out to make the time. Because one of the things that you don't realize is that the time it takes for your reader to read the sentence is also sort of like emulating the time it takes for the scene to happen. So if you're trying to have a real slow scene, but it's over too fast, you haven't given them the time that they need to digest your words. So pacing can be very important. Vary the length of your sentences depending on what you're trying to have happen. Don't have them all be exactly the same length. That kind of thing. So pacing is important. Also, the types of words that you use in your pacing creates a bigger effect too. One of the things that sets aside an amateur writer from an advanced writer is also going to be your syntax. So the way that words sound when you say them, the sorts of punctuation that you use. I'm famous for doing like the single sentence paragraphs. So it's like you build up to a certain moment and then you have like a zinger that's all by itself. Because when you're doing that, you're saying like, this is an important line. This is what I'm really trying to hit you with. That's one of the things that I like to do. So I believe the next one that I said was natural dialogue. One of the things that a lot of amateur writers have problems with, I think, is crafting dialogue that seems realistic. So one of the things I see a lot is people keep saying the names over and over again. Like if I were talking to Jory, I might say Jory's name in every single sentence that I say while I'm talking to her. People don't really do that. Another thing that people don't really do is separate out their contractions. So like saying you are instead of your, or saying it's instead of it is, those kinds of things. You really, when you're writing dialogue, it's supposed to really be the way that a character would speak. So, for instance, if you have a character who has terrible grammar, this is the only time you have permission to ruin grammar and butcher the English language. Some people end sentences on a preposition. That's okay too. So, hey, what are you afraid of? Normally that wouldn't be a kosher sentence because people don't like sentences that end on the word of. But if it's a person talking, you can get away with it. Characters aren't going to use words that are bigger than their britches. People don't typically talk in huge SAT level vocabulary words. That's just not how the way it works. They're also not going to use 15 words to say a sentence when 7 will do. That kind of thing. So, and the other thing is like when their emotions get away from them, they tend to say things that maybe they don't mean, or they say them improperly, or things just come out and then they're like, oh shit, I'm sorry. These are all things that you want to keep in mind, especially given the characters that you're working with. Some people have certain patterns to the way that they talk. Like in Achillea, I have Mian and Heike, and Heike tends to be real crude and crass, and she can't keep her temper to herself, and Mian tends to be real formal, and she actually does separate all of her contractions out, and will never use nicknames. She uses your whole given formal name. Things like that. So the last thing that I wanted to bring up was how to affect emotional centers, which is something that I'm told I'm pretty good at, so I'm going to share it with you. I really like dark and depressing shit, and I like to kill off characters, so it's something that I've taken the time to figure out. So I've learned, and this goes back to like, I read an Animorphs book, and for some reason the scene sticks out in my head where they're in like a cage in a facility, and they're being shown happy memories and horrible memories, and over and over and over again, because every time you give them the happiness, that darkness is just so much worse. So we're going to use sort of the same theme here. If you're trying to hurt your reader, the first thing you have to do is give them the joy. Make them think that everything is great and okay. And if you're getting ready to kill off a character or in some way maim a character, then this is a good time to highlight all of the things that you should love about the character. Make them go, oh, you know what? I really like that character. And then hit him where it hurts. And do it spectacularly, and take all the time that you need to do it. And just like, when you think that it's gotten bad enough, keep going and just keep gouging at it. Just make it worse and worse. And then after you pile the shit on, pile on more of the shit. And just make it really hurt. This is how you're going to engage your reader, and they're going to hate you and scream and throw your book, and they're going to be like, I hate you, Sam, and how dare you do this to me, and then they're going to keep reading. I go through all the time, just trust me on it, okay? And after that, you can't just leave it there. No, that's not how it works. Once you've hit them where it hurts, you have to keep just digging in the knife. Bring on the greed.